going on, guys? Welcome to another video. This week I want to cover my 3 biggest mistakes I did in triathlon, and I hope you can learn from it. Let's get right into it. Quick background to me: I started long distance triathlon in 2012 and I did my first long distance there in 11 hours flat. From there on I started progressing really well until 2017 Ironman Florida, where I did my best Ironman long distance to date, which is a 9:06. I had the fastest run in my age group and a 10th overall, qualified for Kona the second time, but then it started going a little bit downhill from there for about 2 years, and I want to make sure that you avoid those mistakes, so I want to show you how. Mistake number 1, losing focus of the lowest hanging fruits, the basics. So what I mean by that is sleep, diet and hydration. I am pretty sure that you're also not 100% on those, because unless you lose something and lose sight of the basics, I think you have to eventually lose sight of those basics in order to realize how important they are. Before you start buying recovery boots, black roll, do 1,000 massages a week, do the basics first. So sleep, everybody knows you should sleep 8 hours, but sleep more if you can. If you're a full-time worker like most of us, take the weekend where you just sleep in. Don't plan it full with other appointments with friends and whatnot. You need once a week a day where you just sleep in, have no alarm, and maybe your body needs 11 hours, close the shades, everything dark, nobody disturbing you. Super key for recovery. If you're during the week, just get your 8 hours, maybe 7, but don't skip those. Then diet is a tricky one. I don't want to go too deep into it. I'm not a specialist in nutrition, but I went really south there. I went into the 1%ers, the low carb, high fat one. I loved the idea about it, sounded brilliant, but it's very individual, and very individual means it probably only works for a small percentage of people. I get advice that I should go to 50 grams of carbs a day, no sugars, no processed foods. It sounded so brilliant to me to say, hey, your body switches to fats and then you're going to be so much better at Ironman and all that. But realistically, it is difficult for most, because what happens is you're most likely going to be under eating then. It's very difficult to get the right amount of calories in with it. For some it works. I'm not saying it doesn't work, or it works. For some it's great. For epilepsy and whatnot, it's definitely recommended, or losing weight if you're highly overweight. For top performing athletes, questionable topic. Anyways, before you start twitching and turning the basics, that is playing with fire. So if you play with your sleep, playing with fire, I did that mistake wrong. I started to push it 6 hours, whatnot, cramming in more and more in life. I wanted all fronts to be as much as possible. Difficult topic, don't play with it. Same in nutrition. No matter what you put in, it's very individual macros. Just because for your mate low carb, high fat works, or high carb and low fat works, which is for me now the case, it doesn't mean it worked for you. It's very individual. What's important is calorie in, calorie out. How you do your macros, that you need to figure out on your own. But don't play with fire and go low on calories. That is absolutely not recommended. Then hydration, also super key. Drinking enough. If you do 2-3 hours training a day, you need to be drinking enough. At work, put a bottle on the table so you know how much you drank. There are even bottles by now with electronic timers and whatnot, but make sure you drink enough during the day, because sometimes, even when I had back then the REDS, it's basically like the female athlete triad, so not having enough energy through calories, which happened through the low carb, high fat, and which led me to be kind of broken for 2 years, combined with other stuff, heavy metal poisoning, whatnot. Anyways, it all started with ignoring the basics, playing around with the basics. With sleep, I played around, didn't respect it enough. With nutrition, I played around with macros, underate eventually. Don't do that. And hydration, I probably also didn't drink enough. Cover those 3. Do the basics right, eat enough, sleep enough, drink enough. Very easy to mess up, very cheap to do, and it will get you 90% of your recovery promised. Point number 2, not being patient enough. Most of us triathletes, type A guys, we want results fast. We want to train harder and think the harder we train, the quicker we're gonna get those results. Endurance sports doesn't work like that. it's not like it. So you have to be patient. A classic mistake is going too hard in key sets, or in general going too hard in your sessions. Listen to your coach. If he has a prescribed heart rate for your session or power, don't be the superhero and go over, because you want consistency week by week, and by going too hard in the sessions, you're draining your hormones. I'm a bigger guy, so I'm more charged on testosterone, which is really interesting. Brad Sutton talked about it. It's the first time when I talked to him that I realized that. So bigger guys like me, more muscular guys, let's say, they are higher on testosterone. So what bigger guys can do, they can go really hard for one session, which was always my strength, really hard. But what that does the next day or the day after even, it drops your testosterone levels significantly. And that leads you either to be overtrained if you constantly have high intensity. So for me, for example, you could kill me beautifully if you would do a VO2 max session every day, every second day, because I would go so hard, drain more hormone levels, and eventually be broken, no doubt. So I'm more on the high volume side, intensity and quality of course, but very well dosed. Then on the other side, if you have a very thin athlete, for example a woman, 55 kilos, she will be struggling anyways. Women more on estrogen, not the testosterone side so much. They can't go as hard in a session, consequently don't drain the hormone levels that much, but they can go frequently harder. They probably struggle more with high volume. So it's a bit like that. Keep that in mind as well for yourself. But important, don't go too hard. Realize that your journey is going to take time. Plan it with your coach and be patient. Results will come. Point number 3, giving away all the responsibility of your body to your triathlon coach. Big mistake of mine. I expected to coach, or I thought that's how coaching works. It's not the case. That the coach basically sees everything, knows everything what's going on with me. I just have to make a comment and then the coach will know if I overtrain, and he has the data and everything. That is not the case. The coach is not responsible for your health. A little bit it is, I come to that later, but don't give away the responsibility for your own body's health to a triathlon coach. Very key. You have to make the calls if you're broken, if you're really sick, if you're so stressed out in life. If you continue the training plan, the coach, or don't tell the coach, just make a comment or something and being not clear, you have to communicate with your coach and make the calls yourself as well. If you're completely broken, you don't have to ask your coach if it's okay to go do that super hard run set or do that marathon you have in a weekend, although you have foot pain for 3 weeks, which you didn't tell your coach. Make sure you know what you're doing and you have responsibility for your own body. Then on the other side of that, you do pay a triathlon coach on a monthly basis, most likely, and he is fully committed for you. But reality is that most triathlon coaches have around 20-30 athletes. That's a reality, and no matter how dedicated they are, how much they care, it's an online-based training plan with 9.9 out of 10 cases. That means he cannot know when you're really broken. The data doesn't show that early. It's not like the first day you're starting to feel super moody, you're getting night sweats, super nervous and stressed all the time. First signs of overtraining, by the way, before the body comes in and stops you. That's what happened to me. I had, for example, HRV. I had all the data. For weeks I felt already really broken by my body. That's a talent I have, or my body have. It's a little bit of a machine. It just keeps going. The data kept showing great things. I still performed. I didn't completely break down or anything, but I was already broken by that time. And then boom, suddenly comes. I got nerve issues. I got whatnot coming. At some point the body will stop you. But what I want to say, that the coach is also accountable for your performance. If you have a race and you did absolutely everything the coach said, and you also rested and you don't go and overtrained, you did the nutrition right, the pacing right, and you're completely off your target, completely off the target that you know you can do, maybe something is wrong with the training plan. Maybe something's wrong with the approach, because most type A triathletes, they just right away reflect and think, oh, it's me, I'm not good enough. It's a self-worthiness that some of us are lacking. So don't be so quick with that, because a lot of coaches, reality is that to be a coach, there are not clear criteria. You can do a weekend course or be an ex-pro and call yourself a coach. It is an extremely difficult job to master, a lot of knowledge, a lot of psychology knowledge involved to be a good coach. So it's very difficult. Most important that you are responsible for it, but also your coach. You need to have a very, very good communication base. Talk to each other if something is going well, if something is not going well, if you're not progressing for 4 to 6 weeks, see no results, and you're doing the training and you are recovering. I'm not sure. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. That's a fact. Okay, I hope those 3 mistakes helped you. I hope that you get something out of this video. Even if you just remember one of those and you think, that resembles with me, try to put it in your daily rhythm and avoid those mistakes, because you will be long-term in the sport, healthy, happy, and that's in the end what we want from the sport. No matter how big the goals are, you want to be happy and healthy in the sport for a long time. And those 3 points can definitely help you with it. So anyways, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next week. Bye bye. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You can really help me out if you like and subscribe, push your notification bell, comment below what you want to see next, and I see you in the next video.